Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So let me make sure I'm up. Let me check my audio and all that good stuff. This is my second troll video, and I think I have another troll video next. And it's not that I had this intention on trolling today, like I just woke up and said, I need to troll somebody. That's not what took place. I was listening to other people's content, and Nomiki Konst, because people kept saying, dude, you should listen to the Donna Brazile Nomiki Konst video. So I listened to the Nomiki Konst video. Actually, first I listened to Nomiki's, I guess it was her rehabilitation of Donna Brazile. I guess that's what I'm going to call it. That video. It's the video after her actual video with Donna Brazile, where apparently she was getting comments and people were saying things to her that she needed to comment back on and needed to push back against. After I heard that, I was like, oh, I need to see that video. I need to see the interview between Nomiki Konst and Donna Brazile. I want to talk about, in this video, Nomiki Konst gives the DemEnter argument. It's the DemEnter argument. It's the, we're the side that is going to get this right. We're the DemEnter, and we're going to reinsult the Democratic Party, and we're going to change things, and we're boarding the ship, and things are going to, etc., 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 that type of stuff. This epic, heroic, the rally of the troops, the boarding of the ship, the boarding of the castle, that type of stuff. Fair enough. I understand. She's going to give her argument. Now, you've heard me give the no argument. The no argument is not, how can I say this? The no argument sounds like it straddles. I've always said if Bernie Sanders runs again, I'm voting for Bernie Sanders. I don't care about the labels. If Bernie Sanders runs again, I'm voting for Bernie Sanders. That being said, if I don't think somebody represents my interests, they're not going to get my vote. That's a very specific point of view in this. It's not this thing of not necessarily participating in the system, but at the same token is being perfectly willing to not participate in the system and make it pretty damn clear that you're not going to participate if you don't necessarily like what's taking place. It's the point of not being complicit. It's the point of not being complicit. I've called the DemEnter crowd, the DemEnter crowd, the crowd that the Democratic apologists, the people who go in and say, we're going to change things, we're going to change things, we're going to change things. Those guys. It's not that I'm against their aims. It's not that I'm against their aims. I've always made this argument that party needs to fundamentally change. Fundamentally, completely change. Or needs to fail. I'm okay with either. I'm okay with either. My push and my want for a third party is because you need to have a third party source for if that thing fails to pick up the slack and go. You need to have a third party source that whether the party fails or not to be a club and a specter that people can go to something that's actually legitimate and viable. You need a third party. But that being said, I am not necessarily against the people who are trying to change the Democratic Party. I'm just somewhat skeptical and cynical of this process. That's all. I think Democratic Party is where movement go to die. So when I hear all this, we're going to change the party, I think of Jesse Jackson and Rainbow Coalition. It's like, what happened to Jesse Jackson and Rainbow Coalition? Movements go to die. We're bringing you all of these new recruits, and now we can just funnel these people into the Democratic Party. Status quo forever. Status quo forever. And now we have Sanders. Now Sanders is trying to fundamentally change what it means to be a Democrat. And personally, I actually do think Sanders has a chance in this. I don't necessarily think this is a fool's errand. I know some people think this is a fool's errand. I don't think so. This is my angst on this. It's like, I'm not in a DemEnter camp because I firmly believe that people need to pull themselves out the party and be willing to say no. But at the same token, if I see somebody who I think represents my interests, that person gets my vote. If I was in West Virginia, yes, I would vote for Paula Swearengin. Paula Swearengin is a Democrat. I try to make that clear. I try to make that clear. There's more nuance. I guess that's the point. But she's going to make the DemEnter argument. I disagree with her DemEnter argument. I disagree with that argument. What I want to know from Nomiki is, what's the level? Is there any level that the Democrats go where she says, okay, I had enough? What's that level? What's that place? What's that point? That's what I want to know. What's that level? What's the thing? Meaning, if your husband beats you and slaps you and he has sex with the maid while you're watching, if he doesn't wash his hands and he plays with your kid, like he's just rubbing his hands on dirty, nasty hands on your kid's face, at what point do you say, I've had enough? That's what I want to know. That's separate and distinct conversation from whether DemEnter will work or not. What's the level of abuse that you're willing to take before you say, I've had enough? And if that answer is, there is no level of abuse, I think I can change him. He has a good soul. I think I can change him. I can be with him for 30 years if I need to be slapped in the face for 30 years. If that's your point of view, then it doesn't matter what takes place. You're firmly in this particular camp, and you're in this camp, hell or high water, and you would just be this kind of complicit person in this camp. No, things never change to the way I want those things to change, but I stay complicit voting for whoever they put up in this process. I want to know. I want to know. Before we have this conversation about DemEnter, DemExit, I would like to know where you stand. That's the first point. If there is no spot, if there is no level of abuse, no level of shame, no level of humiliation that you're willing to, it's like there's no level that can take place that I would ever say, I am done. I want to know that. That's an interesting position to take. I would like to know. Now, let's talk about the DemEnter thing. I'm going to let her make her argument for DemEnter. I'm going to let her make her argument. I would like to comment on this argument afterwards. And let's be honest, she has a dog in the hunt. Like, she may say, I'm a reporter and everything else, but ultimately, you're functioning with Justice Democrats. You're on the Democratic Unity Commission. You have a dog in the hunt. You're a reporter and a person with a dog in the hunt. So let's be honest about that also. This is, if you ask Donna Brazile will say, hey, people should stick with the party. Yeah, she's a Democrat. Yeah, of course. So, same thing for you. Of course you're going to make that DemEnter argument. You're a Democrat. You're a Democrat. Let's hear her argument. Let's hear her argument. The second argument I want to play is her going after people who are saying DemExit. People like me. People like me. And I don't even say DemExit. That's the... Oh, let me say this one part first. Let me say this one part. This argument is more nuanced. The reason why I am not one or the other on this, like I'm not DemEnter or DemExit. I think people do need to flee the party. I think it sounds like I'm saying two things and we're not. It's nuanced. If somebody represents my interests, they're getting my vote. Just period. If somebody's representing my interests, they're getting my vote. If Nina Turner ran, Nina Turner would get my vote. If Tulsi Gabbard ran, Tulsi Gabbard would get my vote. If someone represents my interests, they would get my vote. By the same token, if there is nobody there to represent my interests, I am perfectly willing to say no. If there's a Green Party there, I would support that Green Party full-throatedly in the same way I supported the Green Party in the general election. If there is a third party, Democratic Socialists of America or Progressive Independence Party, I would support that party full-throatedly. Full-throatedly. We need a third party in this country. We must have a third party in this country. And if that means large numbers of people flee the Democratic Party like rats from a burning ship, those people need to go somewhere. Those people need some edifice to express their will. Now, the part to this that I make my point of is the no argument. I made this no argument before. But the importance and the strength of the no argument is the club that you're using is you can lose. You will actively lose. You will consistently and continually lose. Whether Ms. Konst, whether Nomiki Konst understands and realizes it or not, the DemExit is a thing that has allowed her to get any level of progress in her pursuits and endeavors. I don't think she understands it. During the time when Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were going at each other, Malcolm X made Martin Luther King more palatable. Without a Malcolm X, Martin Luther King would not have gotten to the degree that Martin Luther King had gotten. He scared the shit out of people. He put this idea of, oh my God, this is the worst case scenario. This guy is being a little bit more peace-knit. Let's talk to the peace-knit. It gave your society of contrast of what things could be. The DemEnter and DemExit crowd, for the most part, are playing the same dynamic. 15 million people flooding the Democratic Party. 15 million people fleeing in droves. You don't think that scared the shit out of the Democratic Party? It scared the shit out the Democratic Party. You're a club in this. The boogeyman, the specter is, oh my God, we can continuously lose because these people left the party. How do we get these people back? Hey, let's have a unity commission. Let's have a unity commission. You're prospering purely because of the DemExit crowd. So let's pipe down on the, the DemExiters are crazy and all this other stuff. Yeah, let's calm down on that. Your progress is purely because of the DemExit exists in the first place. It is not one or the other. The point is both. This is kind of my point. I vote for people who represent my interests. If they don't represent my interests, they're not getting my vote. I am classically DemExit when there's nobody representing my vote. I don't care about the labels. Don't care about the labels. DemExit is a specter. DemExit is a thing that's necessary for a third party and all those other good stuff. But at the end of the day, yes, you're not going to have something in 2018. But the club and the thing that you have in 2018 is the fact that all of these people are willing to or have left the Democratic Party. And it scares the shit out of the party. And it makes that party comply to a certain degree. Complaining about DemExit. You've prospered because of DemExit. That's my point. That's what I'm getting at. Don't want to belabor it. Let's let her hear Sarah thing.
But I would say maybe someone should ask Debbie Wasserman Schultz, did you aid the Clinton campaign? Because the facts say at this point, yes. And that's it. Now, it sucks. People hate the Democratic Party. I hear you. I'm on a commission right now that I'm not going to report on, and they do not love me.
Right. So I started a little before because I want her to make her case. I want her to make her full case. I don't want to interrupt her case. She's beefing up her bona fides. She's beefing up her bona fides. She's like, these guys hate my guts. I'm one of you. These guys hate my guts. I'm angry. I'm angry. I'm Nomiki Konst. I'm angry. I'm angry. I'm angry. I'm just as angry as you are. I'm foaming at the mouth. I don't look it because I'm foaming at the mouth. I'm foaming at the mouth. My makeup and everything else is flawless. I'm a beautiful human being, but I'm foaming at the mouth also. I'm gonna let her make her point. I'm gonna let her make her point. I just thought that part was funny. It's like she's making sure that the public knows, look, I am angry also. And so, for the people who are complaining and saying bad things about me, I am also a lefty. The Democratic Party hates my guts just as much as it hates your guts. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Let's hear her out. I just want to explain why I'm starting at this point. I want her to make her point. Her entire point.
The status quo Democrats, the insiders, really don't like me. Shocker. I'm at war with them all the time. But they're at war with us for a reason. We almost took it over, and we're very close to taking it over. We got almost half the votes. Bernie Sanders, an independent from Vermont, scares them because he stands in the way of their contracts, of their corruption. And it is so close, closer than it's ever been. So they are literally getting smart. They're creating smear campaigns. They're going online and targeting us. When they see DemExit, they're like, yes, DemExit, so we can keep our status quo corruption. Not understanding, the DemExiters, I understand your frustration with the party.
Actually, no, I massively disagree with that. Massive. Do you honestly believe that if the Democratic Party consistently lost, say for example, the Democratic Party lost in Virginia, the governor of Virginia, let's say they lost in Virginia, what do you think the conversation would have been afterwards? Do you think it would have put more pressure and more tension in regards to, oh my God, we cannot maintain things the way we are? Legitimacy, in this case, is your existence. If you're in existence, to some degree, you have a certain amount of legitimacy. There is nothing to give appraisal in any other way. The fact that you're losing so much undermines this idea of legitimacy and undermines this idea of viability and questions. Oh, people start to have questions. And those things get louder and louder. Your reasoning at this point or your ability to get this far into the process is for two reasons. They understand that the public is pissed off, and they need to find a way to stop people from fleeing that party. They've lost millions of people. I would guarantee you, Ms. Konst, this is more to do with them trying to bring people back to the party and to bridge that gap of those people who left. Yes, I'm pretty sure Sanders scares them. Fair enough. But one of the other things that scares them also, if you may even say a competing interest, is the ability to get elected in the first place. The fact that Sanders exists, God damn it, man, you understand that Bernie Sanders existing, part of the reason why so many of those people left is because they were pissed off at what happened in the primaries. And in being pissed off at what happened in the primaries, yes, Bernie Sanders threatens them, yes. That's why they hate his guts, and that's why they were willing to cheat so magnificently. Fair enough. But the tension that's created has a lot to do with those people actually flooding the party, leaving the party. They're going to do whatever they can to try to get those people back into the fold. And yeah, the Unity Commission was their way of getting those people back into the fold. But why do you need a Unity Commission if you're united? And if the point of the Unity Commission is to bring this kind of, hey, we need to mend the party, that means that the tension there has to do with those people leaving. They don't love DemEnter and DemExit. Be honest. They can't possibly love DemExit. There is no party in existence that says, yes, we love losing. We love losing. That makes no sense. That particular argument makes no sense. They don't love DemExit. They want those people back into the fold. They would not have Bernie out there sheepdogging if they wanted those people into the fold. They would not have Keith Ellison if they didn't care about those people being back to the fold. The entire point of the Unity Commission is unity. It's unity. So come on, it makes no sense. Let's keep going.
And should there be a third party? Absolutely. And I think we should, people should work on that simultaneously. But let's just be real here. The Clinton status quo folks want us to abandon the party so they can keep control, because they know how close we are to taking it over. And when I say how close, I mean a couple of votes away. You can do whatever you want. You can think whatever you want. You have the right to be frustrated. I am probably one of the most frustrated people when it comes to the party, because I'm a direct target of the status quo. I haven't shared this publicly, just on Twitter. I had a death threat sent to my hotel room, a month and a half ago in Vegas. I've gotten countless death threats online. My Wikipedia page was taken down. There are hundreds of Reddit pages created by Clintonite followers that are there to attack me. So if there's anybody who despises the status quo Democrats, it's me. I'm up there with quite a few. I mean, Nina Turner is targeted beyond belief. I am more of an advocate for changing the system than most people. But I'm not going to go sit in a corner and talk to myself, because that's what progressives did over the past 2 decades, 3 decades. They threw their hands up in the air after they were defeated, or surrendered and said, no more. That's not smart strategy. You have to be thinking immediately, short term, long term. You have to know where their weaknesses are, where the power is. How do you work all these different things? And who are your allies now that may not have been your allies a year ago or 2 years ago? Because you can't just win it in an echo chamber. You're not going to defeat Trump by exiting. I'm sorry to say that.
What if your goal isn't to defeat Trump? That's not my goal at all. That's not my goal. Is that your goal? I mean, if your goal is fully to fuck, man. Is your goal really to defeat Trump? Like, you're essentially huddling up just because you have this idea of, we need to get Trump out that office? Look, Trump is governing like a regular Republican. And if you're trying to make this argument for trying to change the Democratic Party and move it to the left, this is your best opportunity to get something done. Not necessarily because you're going to get any legislation passed. You have a capacity of retooling what that party is. I am not against this DemEnter strategy. I don't want you to think that. I'm just against her being against DemExit, if that makes sense. Yes, it sounds like I'm being a little bit nuanced, but because I do think it's nuanced. I don't necessarily think her argument is entirely wrong. I just think she misses the strength of DemExit, and she misses how DemExit has gotten her to the point, or what she would consider to the point of even having a unity commission in the first place. It's called the Unity Commission, for God's sakes. Why are they having a unity commission if everybody's united? And if they don't care about DemExit, why are they having a unity commission? It's like, come on, even if it's a dog and pony show, it's a dog and pony show for a particular point. Progressives over the past 20 years were complicit. They were put in a corner and they stayed in a corner. And for the most part, they were so terrified of the boogeyman that was across the street that they just voted for this particular guy who was least worse. It is a fair point to say that, yeah, you probably shouldn't have did that. That was probably a bad thing. That's on all of us. That's on all of us. Fair point. Fair point. If you're going to vote and you're going to be complicit in something, maybe you should have a hand in trying to do something about it. Fair enough. Put in a corner. We were told that they were the adults in the room. And that the fact that they could win was part and parcel to their legitimacy. You've lost 1,100 seats throughout the country. You've lost 66 out of 99 state legislatures, maybe one in Virginia, so let's take one off that list. You lost the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court, and the presidency. Where is your legitimacy? Where is your legitimacy? You're clearly not the smartest kids in the room anymore. You can't even win a goddamn election, and you lost the reality shows. So the legitimacy, the losing, is part of the things that's creating this question of legitimacy. Your entire being, you being in that station right now where you're in that unity commission you guys are arguing for whatever you guys are arguing for, is purely done purely for the fact that all of these people have flooded out that party. Show respect where respect is due. So yeah, I don't think she's fully wrong. Yeah, I don't think she's fully wrong. Just being more nuanced. Let's keep going.
You want to build a third party? Let's do it. Is it going to happen by 2018? Are we going to get on every single ballot in the country? Probably not. Working Families Party has been trying to do this for 25 years. And they only have, a handful of states. But it doesn't mean it's not achievable and doable. But they're so close to losing control. Why would you surrender now? Why wouldn't you bring in allies? Like Kirsten Gillibrand, who I would have never said was an ally last year. Suddenly she's standing up and saying Bill Clinton should have stepped down. That's an ally now. She's voting for Medicare for all. She's reading the tea leaves. She sees where the wind's blowing. There are more people who see the wind blowing. Some who may have been progressive but supported Clinton because they were in elected office and they were scared. Some people who literally had an enlightenment. Some people who are just political animals and are like, all right, I'm going to vote progressive now because that's how I'm going to survive. Guess what? We need those people. Because otherwise, the status quo Democrats, the Clinton Democrats, are going to stay in control for the next 30 years. Allies do not mean everybody who is exactly in belief, it has the same beliefs as you. It means people who are willing to join forces with you in fighting the opposition when you need to win. Politics makes strange bedfellows. You've heard that line before, right? There needs to be a strategy to clean up the house, right? And I would say there are probably, Tom Perez barely won the DNC chair's race in February. There are more people who are frustrated now than they were then, and he almost lost. So just think about the numbers there. There are more people who are supporting him. You see how popular Bernie Sanders is. He's the most popular politician in the country, in the world. So think about, you don't think the establishment's freaking out? They're targeting and they're making these attacks for a reason. They're clinging to control for a reason. They know we are so close to taking over. When Donna Brazile turns on the establishment and starts spilling the beans and sharing the secrets and talking about the internal corruption, think about that. Why would we say, no, we don't want to hear that? That's just not wise. So I challenge you guys to think bigger. Just think bigger. To win, what is it going to take to win? Shouting at each other online? Or actually understanding what happened?
I understand what happened. Fucking cheated. What are you talking about? They cheated. Unless she's talking about Donna Brazile, where she's being specific to understand what happened to Donna Brazile. This is this kind of rehabilitation of Donna Brazile. And it's not just Donna Brazile. I have to be honest, I don't fully disagree with this argument. So, at least this specific part of the argument. The catch is, do you believe the people when they say certain things, or are people just getting in a position because they believe that that's where they need to be? And does it matter? Meaning, if that person believes they need to be in that particular spot, then to some degree you've pulled them to your way through political force. Can you trust that? And be honest, can you trust that? I mean, I understand she's trying to rehabilitate Kristen Gillibrand. That's great. I understand. Yeah, she came out and said Bill Clinton should step down. That's fucking awesome. What, 20 years, 30 years ago? I don't understand how that all of a sudden makes Kristen Gillibrand an ally in this. If these people want to come along and bend their knee to a particular strategy that's to the left of where they are, fair enough. I'm going in that direction. I am perfectly okay with joining on particular issues, you know, for a certain thing. I will give my votes based on this kind of humanistic perspective. But come on. Come on. Democrats in elections become lefties when they're attacking Republicans. Republicans in off elections and off years when they're in opposition become deficit hawks. We care about the deficit. I will bleed on the flag before I let 1 red cent be put on the back of my grandchild. They don't believe these things. It is comically childish to believe something that's 4 years out, meaning that person is not in any particular position to vote on a particular policy, and you're just giving her the, hey, I mean, people change. People change. They see where the wind is blowing and people change. I don't know what this means. Are you saying that if Kristen Gillibrand runs for president, you're trying to say you want people to vote for Kristen Gillibrand? I don't understand what you're saying. What are you telling me in that? Like in that statement, when you're putting in Kristen Gillibrand is one of the people who's talking about running for president. Is her seat up? Meaning, are you saying people should vote for her in her particular seat? Or are you saying that if she runs for president, that she should be voted for president? Explain to me. What are you saying? What is the degree that you're in this party in this particular way where you vote for any of these people and going so far as to just try to rehabilitate random people based on some random thing that they say? Your party lied. You cheated Bernie Sanders. Your party cheated Bernie Sanders, not you personally. I take you as being earnest in regards to saying what you want to accomplish in the party. Fair enough. I take even the taxes being earned. So I'm pretty sure they're leveling pretty the tax on Nina Turner and some of these other people. I saw the letter that they wrote to Tulsi Gabbard when she came off in support for Sanders. But let's be very clear what took place. Your party cheated a candidate. We're in a representative government, and that party made the choice of, we want this person to accede to the office. We don't necessarily care what the public wants. It is not an election. We're selecting this person. We are the governing class, and we know what's right. The entire time that they did that, they looked into the camera and said, this is an impartial process. You people are just sore losers. This is a completely impartial process. You people are just sore losers. You need to get behind Bernie Sanders. You're going to hurt Hillary Clinton's chances in a general election. Bend the knee. Bend the knee. Bend the knee. Vote for her. You better get your ass in line and vote for her. Now, this is also coupled with Donald Trump is a maniac. Donald Trump is going to eat your babies. Donald Trump is having sex with Vladimir Putin while being peed on by hookers. All of this insane stuff, making this guy out to be the biggest goblin on the face of the earth. I would agree with you that his tone and manner is atrocious. But he's governed like any random, horrible Republican would govern. That's the honest part of it. That's the honest, bare bones of it. What I'm getting at, though, is I understand Republicans are horrible, but your party cheated a person, undermined democracy, and you guys are sweeping this under the rug as if this is just, you know, fucking lovely. None of these people have owned up to the fact that they've cheated. You understand this, right? None of them have come out and say, yes, we've cheated. They've looked into the camera and said, we need to move on. We need to move on. They've lied for over a year. Lied for over a year, literally. standing up saying we're going to have a unity commission even though we're perfectly united. In the debates, they continuously lied. It's just fucking amazing. That's all. If you're going to go to DemEnter, shouldn't you at the very least, get them to own up to the fact that they cheated? Nobody wants to own up to it. That seems like a big fucking deal to me. Nobody wants to own up to it. So I understand her point. She's not necessarily wrong. Yes, you're going to have some people who say, I'm a political animal. I need to be standing in that particular place because I think that's where the public is going. Yes, you will get people to do that. But do you trust it? Do you trust it? I mean, look, Obama looked like he was pretty damn progressive when he ran too. He looked like he was pretty damn progressive. And in 2008 to 2016, what did you get? What did you get? You got the grounds for Donald Trump. I don't understand how you could trust these people. That's all. That's all. Yes, you're going to have some people who bend your way. Yes, you're going to have some people who support the things that you support. Yes, you're going to have some people who are allies. Agreed. Agreed. Some of those people are going to be unlikely allies. But we're talking about brass tacks. We're talking about what does this mean in the real world physical matter reality? Just because one Kristen Gillibrand says she supports Medicare for all. That's great. What about other stuff? Certainly Medicare for all is not the only thing in the world that the person is going to support or the person is going to do. And it's not like you're going to support this one person because this person says this, they have this one issue and they're just this kind of Hillary Clinton light. And you're, Hillary Clinton light saying, okay, yes, I'm okay for Medicare for all, but I still have all the other horrible qualities associated with me as a candidate. But yes, like I said, I'm being a troll. Yes, let's keep going.
And using that knowledge to build beyond. Last thing I'm going to add. There's a lot of commentators out there who are using this continuous war to gain viewers. I always err on the side. I mean, I'm not one to stay in my own.
Now, I find this one to be amazing. I'm playing this because I find this to be fucking amazing. I love this one, this clip, what she's going to go into. There's some people who are using this war to get viewers. Now, is that true to some degree? Yes, there's probably always going to be somebody out there who's doing that. I can think of one or two people who decided to change their channel in a way to try to get more viewers with this. But let's be honest. Many of the people who are doing channels who are powered by this, they are enraged by this. Like this is it's like come on, you're on TYT, your network started just as Democrats, and you're a reporter who's working in the camp with the Democrats, and you're acting like you don't have a dog in the hunt. Get off your high horse. Get off your high horse. Please get off your high horse. It's not to mention, and one of the things somebody mentioned that you were writing speeches for some of the Democrats you were covering. Oh. And I don't dislike Nomiki Konst. It's just, I don't like this thing like Jordan Sheridan did, coming out saying these people are doing clickbait and all this other stuff, as if her role in this is not to get viewers, or her role in this is not to put eyes on the camera. Let's be honest. Yes, to some degree, everybody's going to have some impetus or some incentive to try to get viewers. Fair enough. But that's a whole different thing of saying that people are doing this stuff for clickbait. Aren't there one or two out there who may be doing it? Yes. Is that the majority? Probably not. And do a lot of these people are pissed off. The party cheated. The party cheated. Own it. Own it for what it is. Your party cheated. And you don't believe that people are going to be pissed off when the candidate that they themselves wanted was cheated? You're a poor judge of human nature if you believe that. There's no way you believe that. There's no way you believe that. And when people are pissed off, guess what they do? They find ways to express the fact that they're pissed off. Whatever that degree of pissed offness is, that's the degree that they're going to have their channel. That's the way they're going to go about covering it. It's not about getting viewers. I suspect part of it is just expressing themselves in this way. If it's me, it's topics I cover. This is one of those things that pisses me off royally. Pisses me off royally. And as you're looking into it, it's like, oh my God, this gets worse. This gets worse. However corrupt I thought it was, it's worse. It's worse. Let's keep going. Let her make a point. She's going to take a plug out somebody.
Corner, I am a fighter, but I always err on the side of figuring out the facts first. So sometimes I don't do these commentary videos as regularly because I want to make sure that the facts are there. I want to make sure I source. I want to make sure I interview, dozens of people from different places before I go out there and spew my opinion or my take. And all I'll tell you now is I have interviewed dozens and dozens and dozens of people, probably over 100 people over the last year, about the Democratic Party. And everything comes down to the money. So I urge...
No shit. No shit. No shit, Sherlock. Really? It took you to... Come on, man. It took you to interview 100 people to say, I know what it is. It's the cash. It's the money that flows through the political system. God damn it, I didn't know it. But I've talked to 100 people and I've nailed it down. I've figured it out. I figured it out. Good job. Good job. You figured it out. It's cash. Cash flowing through the political system creates a certain amount of influence, a certain amount of corruption. Yes. Good job. Good job. You shouldn't have needed to talk to 100 people to figure that out. That's all. Let's keep going.
Urge you guys, before you hear these hot takes online, think, well, what does that person really know about the party? Have they done their sourcing? Can they quote people? Can they give me statistics? Or are they trying to bolster their audience and get more ad revenue for their YouTube page or their, I'm talking about competitors.
Do they have eyes? Do they have ears? Were they around during the primaries? Did they hear Democrats lying to them in their face over and over and over again? Did they see Democrats cheating progressives in Nevada and some of these other states where they were getting rid of people off the voting lines? Did they see them closing polling locations? Did they see them do these things? Were they around at the time when WikiLeaks came out and said they were cheating? Did those people have eyes? Did those people have eyes? It's like, come on, be honest. Be honest. It's like, what do these people really know? What do these people really know? Were they really alive at the time where the Democrats were cheating people, knocking people off the voter rolls illegally in many places in New York, at the very least? Let's keep going. Yes, I told you I'm being a troll, man. I have one more troll video after this one. Let's keep going.
Or more Twitter followers. My Twitter followers are my Twitter followers. I don't actively try to make things go viral. They're, if it happens, it happens, but it's not like I am doing that regularly. You'll see Twitter followers have remained consistent over the past several years. So just keep that all in mind. I'm going to try to follow the facts, and if you don't want to hear that, I'm sorry. Then I'm not your reporter.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. I've had to tell people myself, if this is not what you like, have at it. Not changing. Like the story you put out is the story you put out. People may disagree with that particular story. Is what it is. If they can disprove it, if they can show it's wrong, that's one thing. But if it's otherwise, it's this. I disagree with this, or I don't like you talking about this subject because I like this particular person. I would have people on my channel who are Trump supporters, and they'll be like, "Oh man, you're ragged on Trump. I don't like you ragged on Trump." Is what I'm saying accurate? And if what I'm saying accurate, then yeah, you're a bit of a hack. You're a bit of a hack. If you like me ragging on Democrats and going in on Democrats, if Trump is doing something that goes against my particular value system, yeah, he's going to get ragged on. I don't care about the parties. I don't care about the parties. I don't orient myself around what the parties are. I don't completely disagree with her. I guess my disagreement here is the DemExit thing. I agree with Nomiki Konst that, yeah, you're going to get people who bend your way in a political way, but I don't know how you trust. I don't know how you trust it. Like, I don't know what's there to build any kind of grounds of trust whatsoever. Ultimately, what you had was them cheating and lying for over a year. them cheating in line for over a year. Not to mention the purges of progressives and all this other stuff, them lying and calling people names and trying to get them to fall in line and all this stuff. All this stuff. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know how you can trust any particular person in that particular party. And even if those persons all of a sudden say, yes, I'm bending your way, they may bend your way on one specific issue and fuck you over on the other issues. Look, I don't begrudge her for trying to change the party in this way. Good luck. Have at it. I tend to think that DemEnter, DemExit works in tandem. If anything is going to take place in the party, there needs to be some specter on the outside that's going to scare the shit out of the party. If that specter is, oh my God, we're going to lose because these people are not getting in line, I am making this point that you're being far too harsh on people who are in the DemExit group. And that DemExit group is the reason why you're able to get to wherever you believe that you are in the negotiations in that Unity Reform Commission. Your very existence is because of that DemExit group. So I would not be on your high horse on that one too much. And it is an insane perspective to believe that the Democratic Party loves this idea of DemExit. That's insane. I agree with you that you need to work in both in tandem. Fair enough. You do need a third party. That third party needs to be viable. And you need to have enough people who are willing to leave the Democratic Party and say no when their interests aren't being met, to scare the shit out of the party. The reason why the party was willing to change back during the 20s and 30s and all this other stuff was because there were socialists, communists, there were other outside groups that actually threatened the Democratic Party, at the very least threatened them to a degree that they could lose. With the destruction of those groups, you've had a Democratic Party that could say, we are the definitive left in the United States. We are bought. We have people shoving credit cards or swiping them down our ass cheeks and our G-strings. We're bought. We're going to be least worse. That's going to be our political strategy. Least worse. We're going to tell everyone you have nowhere else to go. And for the up-and-comers, those people are going to be so normalized to what this level of politics is, they're going to think that this is the normal degree of the left. We can own it just purely on identity. That was purely strategy. That wasn't for the American public. They told unions at a 99% that you have nowhere else to go, because just because we're apathetic towards you, these other people are going to go after you whole hog. I don't want a party that is apathetic. I want a party that represents my interests. And that is not what this party currently is. I understand you want to DemEnter. I understand you want to pull the party to the left. God bless. God bless. My suggestion is what it has always been. Vote for the person who represents your interests. And be very clear and be very loud about it and be very boisterous about it. Get across that yes, you can lose. Yes, you will continuously lose. And as you continuously lose, at some point, you're either going to be non-existent. And something else will spring up to meet that need. It's not that I love this particular brick, but I'm willing to use this particular brick. I make this point, though, that the fact that that brick exists is the reason why you exist as a DemEnter and is in that Unity Commission. That's my opinion on it. That's what I think. Let's see. Oh, wow. We have a crowd. All right. Let's see what's going on. I'll start here. John Kennedy. Unity Commission is a joke. Progressive purge much. Yeah. And come on. All right, good. We're back. Big trolls critique Herder Nips. I have no idea what that means. Terry J, that's wrong. They don't want the DemExit people. They want them to stay gone. They don't want them taking over the party. No, you don't know what I mean. When I said DemExit, the people who said DemExit are saying the Democratic Party should not get votes if they're not going to represent those people's interests. That's DemExit. That's the basic position of DemExit. They want to leave because they don't believe that the party represents workers and the 99%. And those people are not wrong. Be honest. Those people are perfectly correct. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, my connection is getting flaky. Yeah, Terry J, I don't think those people are wrong. Let's be honest. Those people who say this party in no way represents our interests, I don't trust this party, our threshold has been reached in regards to the abuse that we're willing to take. We're leaving. No, we're at our no point. you can't say those people are wrong. Those people are perfectly justified in what they're saying. Those people are right. Those people are fundamentally right. The argument that you guys are making, the DemEnter crowd, is you can change the party. The party can be changed. Don't give up on the party. Now, the reason I say I don't fully disagree with Nomiki on this is because the party has changed. From a historical context, the party does go through cycles where the party can change. It's changed in the past. It will likely change again. People in a particular context think that context will go on forever. It's not that way. It can change. Sanders could be perfectly right in what he's saying in regards to taking over the party. If he wins, he fundamentally takes over the party. Those people do not want that. Nomiki is not completely wrong on this. I just disagree with the DemExit stuff. That's all. I disagree with her take on the DemExit thing. I think that DemExit thing is... Look, you may say that they don't want people trying to take over the party, meaning they don't want certain elements to change what that party is, the way that party operates. That's fair. That's true. I agree. Oh, okay. Yeah, this connection is getting sketchy. I'm probably going to have to close it. Look, I'm pretty sure Democrats don't want anybody taking over the party. My feeling is working on multiple fronts. I don't disagree with the people at DemExit because I think you need that particular stone to throw. Meaning that party can fundamentally lose and that party can continue to lose. That's my point on the DemExit. That's why I think DemExit is important. That's why I think DemExit is actually the thing that allows her to have that unity commission in the first place. Those people are terrified that people are going to flee that party. No, they don't want that party to change, but they also don't want to lose. They also don't want to lose. I think this is more about losing. And look, you can say it's both. But they don't want to lose. Otherwise, they wouldn't have cared that those 20 million people left the party. Let's see. Mofo thrives on clickbait headlines. I don't know who he's talking about. HA is clickbait at times. Oh, he's talking about HA. Fair enough. Dax Jacobson. If Bernie wins the Democratic primary and loses to Trump, then that will be a massive setback. But being cheated as he was empowered his message, we also need to replace Congress to get anything done to Dax Jacobs. Yes. But this is what I mean by allies. Allies from a position of strength. Meaning if Sanders is in that position, you either support him or you don't. It becomes very clear where you stand. If these people are going to be allies, they're going to be allies to a very particular thing in a very particular direction. What do you represent? What do you represent? That's the question. If Sanders is pushing lefty policy and these Democrats are saying no, what? Alright, yeah, I'm going to end this. My connection is getting extremely flaky. Yeah, Sanders lose, that would be a major setback. I don't think Sanders is going to lose to Trump. Nothing should lose to Trump. Nothing at all should lose to Trump. Like, that should be a low bar. That's such an embarrassing thing to have lost to Donald Trump. But yeah, you would need Congress. But I guess the point I was making before, and I'll close it after this, you need to declare who you are. Who do you represent? If Sanders is in that office, if Sanders is saying, I'm pushing for X, and Democrats are saying no, that makes a clear distinction on what they represent. And Sanders should run against each and every one of those Democrats and get those people out their seats. There need to be a fundamental change in what it means to be a Democrat if this is going to work. Meaning, hollow out that party. I want purges. I want people walking out of the Democratic National Committee with boxes. I want purges. The party needs to change. And yeah, he does need a new Congress in order to go along with it. Or at the very least bend and contort this Congress to his will as president with the bully pulpit. I think he can win. This is why I'm not completely in this DemExit camp. I'm in this camp of, I understand the DemExit thing. I think DemExit is a good idea. I think you need a third party. I am not against working with this thing of trying to change and take over that party. Yeah, I don't fully disagree with her. I guess the part I disagree with her is the belittling of the DemExit. That's all. I think it's more important than she's giving me credit for. Her losing to Trump is still funny. Yes, it is. M99, yes it is. It warms my heart. It warms my heart. Tomosi Young, never DemEnter unless primaries are open and superdelegates are gone. Yes, 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 absolutely yes. I keep making the point, if you're going to show any level of success, that has to be your benchmark. Were you able to get the superdelegates gone? Were you able to get the primaries open? Otherwise, you're just functioning within a rigged system. Yes, that was one of Sanders' benchmarks. If they're going to work, if they're showing any level of we're making progress, those two things need to be gone. Agreed. Agreed. Tim Platt talks to Donna. He talked to Donna Brazile. Wow, can't wait to see that on Patrick Segan. I don't know who Patrick Segan is. Patrick Segan. Terry J. Tim is going to Wolfpack. Her just saying. Let's see. BB Hammer. Tim Black is sold out. Threw HA under the bus. Who's pushing DNC sheepdog issues. He's pushing Trump derangement syndrome BS. Think bigger. Try thinking first. Augur Cybernaut. Ooh. Pulled out a knife. Tabitha Enriquez. Christian Gillibrand is the same ilk as Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, and no different than Schumer. And yes, next generation of neolibs. Agreed. Yes. The opposition we're fighting in this current area is the Democratic Party itself. That's something Nomiki does not get. Chomsky, yes, agreed. Anything that you want to get done is going to take place from the left. That's just the way it is. The current Democratic Party, the way it is in no way, in any shape, to deal with the issues of the left. I just did a video on that woman saying that democracy is a problem. That people themselves making a determination on who they want in that office is a problem. That is an amazing position to take, and that was the position that woman took, arguing for superdelegates. This is where they are. We don't want to let the public choose. We want to choose ourselves. We want to put our thumb on the scale in a rigged process. The problem is the Democratic Party. This is not about Trump. The party is the problem. The party is the problem. I can't say it loud enough. The party is the problem. If you want to get something done, it has to get done from the left. The current vehicle on the left is the Democratic Party, and it is in no shape to get anything done for the masses of people in the public. It is massively out of line with what the public wants, and they are losing to these maniacs. They're losing to these maniacs. In any other context, these Republicans would be off the fucking political spectrum, and they're losing. It's like, come on. You fucking losers. And that woman is still saying we should be the people who make the determination on who gets put in that office. Fucking amazing position. Yeah. The party itself is the problem. The party itself is a problem. And if you're willing to be complicit in that party, if they don't get rid of those superdelegates and they don't open those primaries, then you're also part of the problem. Let's be very honest. I am not against the DemEnter thing from the standpoint of if you're making progress. Okay, I understand, this thing of pushing in this direction. Fair enough. But you can also make the same argument that the DemEnter crowd is the problem and the DemExit crowd is the right. And if you just had the DemEnters to say, see the light and leave the Democratic Party and become the DemExit, then something can get done. You can make the argument in both ways. You can cut that argument in both ways. So her coming on him bashing DemExiters, it's like, yeah, that doesn't apply. That's a relative perspective thing. No, they're not necessarily going to have somebody in 2018. And no, even by 2020. But yeah, you can make that case that if anything you want done, that the Democratic Party is a problem and that party needs to fail and you need something else. And for as long as the DemEnters prop that party up in the corrupt and feckless way that it functions currently, then things will continue to persist as this kind of status quo way. I don't fully buy that argument. Like I don't like that particular argument, even though I think that argument does have legs. But what I mean by it, it's a long-term argument as opposed to 2018, 2020. And I think that that party can fundamentally change by 2020, depending on what takes place in the next several years. Our revolution has been making gains. Some of the other groups, Democrat Socialists of America, has been making gains. I want to see what happens. I am still firmly in this camp of people needing to be willing to say no. If it's not representing you, it needs to lose. If something's going to take place, it has to take from the left. If the left is in no position to get anything done, don't be complicit and give it your vote. Don't give it your, I'm supporting this thing, even this thing is not really representing my interests. I think that's a problematic strategy. And I think over the past 30, 40 years, that strategy has been used to essentially slide this country further and further to the right. So I understand where she's coming from. I don't agree with her with the DemExit thing. I think that DemExit crowd, the reason why she's sitting in there right now having this conversation about things that may take place within the Democratic Party is because of the DemExiters. It's because of the DemExiters. Yes, you could say Sanders was a focal point, but it was because of the DemExiters. They called it a unity commission for a reason. You're trying to bridge these two sides together. Yeah, who are those two sides? Those are two sides of people who hate your guts right now. Trying to mend that field. So I understand where she's coming from. I agree with some of it. Don't agree with the DemEx part. So I will leave it at that before this thing cuts off again. Alright guys, if you enjoy the content, feel free to share, like, subscribe, and of course, you can always support the Patreon. Thanks guys.